Johnny B here, UpsideDownDrafting.com. Hi, and welcome to Dyna-Opoly. Yes, sir. Play a lot of Monopoly at my house, and what better way to view your Dynasty ranking list into a Monopoly board? Just makes sense. You got Boardwalk, Park Place, North Carolina, the yellows, the reds, right? The railroads. I own some players here on this list that I've grouped, and just want to show you on a Superflex kind of look what you can do as you trade through the years. I got Russell Wilson and I got Derek Carr. Okay, so right away I can just kind of make a quick note here. There we go. I got Derek Carr. I got Russell Wilson. I own Amari Cooper. I own a couple other guys on this list that on a group one, tier one, whatever you want to call it. I also own Melvin, by the way, too, for runners. I can actually make some moves. One of the moves I just made was for Des Bryant right here. So as I look at my strength in Group 1, I'm doing pretty good. Some of these guys I can trade. Others I'm going to use and just as my bag of tricks this year in my arsenal. I can start a lot of players on my roster this year. And so, you know, you're just trying to get a snapshot of what you're dealing with tier-wise. Your tiers are going to be a lot different than mine. Who knows what yours are? But I guess what I'm trying to do here is to say when you have some guys maybe on the next tier down that you can move and try to upgrade, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell Matt Ryan. I'm going to sell him before my rookie draft coming up here next month. And I'm going to acquire a couple things, whether it's defense or wide receivers. I'm going to cash him in because I think it's time to make a couple moves on a few guys on my team. And with Russell and Derek being so young, I'll never trade them. But I can trade a Matt Ryan. I also have Phillip Rivers right here. I can get rid of him. So out of these four, I got four really good Dynasty quarterbacks. A lot of people would argue in this video, what are you doing trading Phillip Rivers? He's like a fantasy stud. He's got a brutal schedule this year. Go ahead and take a look at that. Open up a browser after this video. And then the fact is, Phillip plays really good through about 7 weeks, and then he falls off. Old man Rivers. So it's time to trade him. I'm going to try to cash in on him. There's my four major components there. These receivers aren't going anywhere. Melvin, I'm still going to hang on to. But there's kind of a sense right now of what I'm going to do in the running department. I have Kenneth Dixon. I got him last year in my rookie draft. Okay, I have the number one pick in my fantasy 2017 draft, and so therefore I definitely plan to take either a Leo or I'm going to take Corey Davis. And let's say I take Corey Davis. I can already see my roadmap is going to look really good. Look at this. I'm already starting to collect more of Group 1 than anything else. You know, the tough part's going to be I really like Leo Fournette because here's one thing about the Jags, guys. Anytime a coach like Tom Coughlin comes in, they're gonna run the ball more because they're gonna not throw about 40% less. They're gonna want to control the defense. Now, do you gamble on a guy like Leo? Sure. I mean, you're splitting hairs with Corey Davis or Leo. Okay, there's so many people in the Leo camp that are going to say, just let him build around him. They're going to slow the game down, which I think they will, and they will throw less. But how do you pass up a guy like Corey Davis as well, who landed on the right team? And out of the two, Corey landed on the right team. Leo landed on the wrong team, in my opinion. So that's kind of how I'm going to look at it there. You know, there's inklings of McCaffrey, although I just think in my situation, it's probably going to be Corey. I love my upside down approach with wide receivers, so that's probably going to have, take place in my draft coming up. But I think what's interesting in this video and what I'm going to show you next is some tight ends over here. You notice I have Njoku higher than O.J. Howard. All the experts are going to re-rank him. Just watch. It's, what am I on record here? June 8th, whatever. You heard it here first. I think it's well known already in the Dynasty community that this has already occurred, but the major broadband, websites have not yet switched it. It's happening and it will occur. I own Neil in IDP if you play it, and just the other day I traded Ryan Shazier. So there's some other components here as we talk about railroads, right? I guess I could even do a video on chance and community chess cards here, but every component here, every group has its value. What you're trying to do, obviously, is for the right fit, the right price, add in some Monopoly money, and then every year when you go past go, you're going to get some more draft picks. Acquire the draft picks that you need. But again, Dynasty Fantasy Football, especially in a Superflex league, guys, the picks are nice, but the assets are even better. I like guys that I can plug in and play right away, okay? Sometimes the picks look more glamorous, and then you get a Trent Richardson. I mean, poor guy, right? Poor owner of that fantasy team who has, Trent Richardson. What happened? It's sad, I mean, you spend all that money to get these draft picks, and the guy who traded you, connected with somebody else back in the day that is now sitting on a gold mine with an actual physical player. So in that regard, I almost like winning now mentalities in your startup. You can kind of plan for the next year out. I've done that pretty well. But this is the year where you kick it into gear. You take it from third to fourth. You kick it even higher into gear, into fifth gear. By the playoffs, you're in sixth, and no one can touch you. Your team is going to be unstoppable. So I thought this was a clever way of looking at your team. What I would do is get a spreadsheet, put something like this together. If you email me or tweet me at UDDWorks, I'll send you a copy of this, of what I've done. It goes a lot deeper than this. I'm not going to scroll down and bore you right now, but it can go a lot deeper. And then you can kind of play around. But from a left or right standpoint on what you're currently looking for, play Monopoly, trade some assets, but know what ranking groups they are in, and how effective owning all the railroads can be if you own some of these tight ends, especially if your league awards different measurements and points. Like, for instance, Travis Kelce this year with the loss of Macklin, 1.5 points PPR. I'm in a balanced league, guys. Quarterbacks have been, lowered down. Wide receivers have come down a bit because everything's balanced. Any one of these players on any given day can score relatively the same amount of points. There are some advantages sometimes on weekly matchups and things like that, but overall, the league I play in, balanced, very balanced scoring. Again, UDD Works at Twitter. I can show you that league. We have an incredible roster, and our commissioner's done a fantastic job at putting this thing together. Johnny B, UpsideDownDrafting.com. Glad you enjoy the Monopoly game. I play it with my kids all the time. Games, remember people, games bring out your true personality when you play with other people. I love this on a golf course when you're playing with a guy. Oh, my back hurts, so I'm not sure if I'm going to play that well today. But I might do the skins game, but I don't know. My back hurts. All these excuses. And then you see the guy on the course, and he's throwing clubs and all this. The language comes out, cussing like a sailor. Games bring out your true personality. That's why we play them. I love to see other people as they reveal themselves when you play games, whether it's Monopoly or fantasy football. So play the games with your kids. Get good. Dyna-Opoly. You're going to see a lot more analogies coming up on this because I really think there are for fantasy football. There's a lot of rankings going on. I thought this was a clever way to do it. Johnny B, see you next time. Take care. Bye now.